Hey everybody, welcome back for another episode of the Zamora two-player podcast. I'm your host Garrett Zamora, and I'm joined again by my brother Matt Zamora.
Yo, yo.
On the road again, but not quite as far as New Zealand.
No, exactly. Just down in the U.S., down in Philly for a trade show. So anyway, I'm I got my gray on gray palette going going here, but hotel rooms aren't too interesting. But
Yeah.
anyway, hello to any U.S. listeners and watchers.
And you'll be on the road for a couple weeks, so we figured we'd do this now before you get too busy. Probably be a little shorter episode today, mostly because it's not FF themed, so
Yeah.
we won't go on as many tangents. But yeah, we'll today we're actually going to talk about. I was kind of thinking about like superhero games essentially, because it is kind of its own genre almost at this point. And you and I have had a lot of history with the Batman Arkham games, and the Spider-Man recent, the PS4, and then the Miles Morales or whatever. And I felt like those were pretty good games to sort of talk about together, because there's clear influence going back and forth between them.
Yeah.
I guess it's more Arkham to Spider-Man since Spider-Man came after. But there's obviously a template that they kind of followed, especially in the combat, and the world sort of open world nature of like Arkham Knight and Arkham City and Spider-Man. So I figured those are two good ones to sort of talk about in one. Um, First, though, a couple little sort of catch ups I wanted to talk about. So I know you've been playing. I said we're not going to talk about Final Fantasy, and here we go. I saw you've been playing some Crisis Core Reunion.
Yep.
So how's that? Tell me how that's coming so far.
Yeah, no, coming along really well. It's kind of it gets my Final Fantasy fix, especially FF7 fix,
Mm-hmm.
the universe that I hold, dearest in my heart. And especially being a nice bridge between remake and rebirth, so kind of needs something. It definitely kind of feels like a PSP game that's been, cleaned up a little bit.
Yeah.
Voice acting is a little a little rough at sometimes, but
Yeah, the best like advice I heard before I started playing that game is like the visual upgrade are 10 out of 10. Like
yeah,
it is a much better looking game, and you can tell they're using like straight assets from like 7 remake in some of the
yeah,
character models and stuff.
yeah,
Visually and just like the particle effects and combat effects, awesome. Looks
yeah,
great. But
yeah.
it's like the skeleton of that game is still a PSP game. So the way they
Exactly.
sort of animate, and I don't think the dialogue was rewritten at all. So like they re-recorded it with
Yeah,
the newer
new
voice
yeah,
actors.
and I guess
Um,
sorry, I'll correct myself. The voice acting is very well done. The
just
writing,
it's the yeah,
yeah,
I knew that's what you meant. Yeah, it's like
yeah,
the
yeah,
writing is very stilted, and definitely a product of its time.
yeah,
But knowing that going into it helped like gauge my sort of expectations, as like, and to remember that it is like it was a game for a handheld, so it was definitely
yeah.
meant to be able to like accomplish
Quick
things
chapter.
in quick, yeah, exactly, like
Yeah,
quick sit
yeah.
down sessions
Um,
or whatever. So yeah.
So no, it's just like an awesome wind down end of the day,
Yeah.
like sometime before dinner or whatever, hack through a couple of things. But the thing that was really funny, and I knew you would appreciate this, and I kind of bet that you would have had the same thing, was, ooh, I can do missions. And then I did so many
Yeah.
effing missions just because I was just like, oh, you do this one. Oh, it's 4 out of 8 stars. Like, well, I'll give it a shot. And like, oh man, that was hard, but I did it. And oh, I can do another one. And then it was like, oh God, like I'm really struggling on this mission. Like, I better progress in the actual game to level up enough. And now I'm so overpowered.
Yeah.
I'm just like blasting through everything. And at first I was like, oh man, like I'm taking away from the actual game experience because I got to like the scorpion boss and like one hit killed it. I feel like I'm doing New Game Plus. But then I'm like, you know what? I really had a lot of fun um trying to beat those
Yeah.
missions that I really had no business beating.
Yeah.
So
I
anyways, that was fun.
definitely enjoyed it was like that was like the challenging combat part of the game. The story
Mm-hmm.
was like, let me just enjoy the cutscenes and the story of developing this, because I never played the original Christ. I think I played it once at like, maybe I borrowed it from a friend or something, but like I did not really get anywhere in it. So I didn't
Yeah.
actually know the whole story. Obviously I knew how it ended. Um but I didn't know like you know the story beats to
Oh
that.
man,
So
because after I beat FF7 remake, this is not an FF7 episode. After I beat remake for like the third time, and then watched Brianna White's playthrough of it, I was like, what do I do now? What do I do with my life now?
yeah.
Before intermission had come out, um, and I was like, I should watch a playthrough of Crisis Core because I've never, I know what happens, but I
Yeah,
don't
you
know
know the
the beats.
outcome.
Yeah, yeah. And so I was like, oh, I found one, and I someone had said like, watch it that just skips through all battles because the fighting is quite repetitive if
Yeah.
you're not actually playing it. So it was
Yeah.
like, all I want's the story. I don't really care about the gameplay. So
Yeah.
um, that I watched that like a year or two ago or something. So it's kind
So,
of cool to see that.
and one thing I didn't know, and I don't know if you're this far in the game, but it's like it's not spoilery because it's just the story, like it's the
I just
cutscenes.
met Aaron. So
Okay, so
yeah,
this is a little farther, but you know the
yeah,
story of the game.
yeah,
So, spoiler alert if anyone hasn't played it, just be aware. Um, when you get to like Nibelheim or whatever,
yeah,
and it's like when Cloud goes beast mode on Sephiroth,
yeah,
and then he gets like, Hojo finds him and starts like experimenting on him and stuff or whatever. I
yeah.
had no idea that was like for several years that was happening to him.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
And it always like never really clicked to me, like, because like in the because he's like sets Nibelheim on fire, right? Like
yeah,
that did actually happen. But
yeah,
when they get there, everything's fine. I'm like, did he just imagine it was on fire? But then you see it in Christ. I was like, no, it is on fire. Like,
Uh,
why? Like, what? But I didn't know it was like, what was it, like 5 years or something? Or I
oh,
don't remember
like
how
just
many. It was a couple of years, whatever it was, 4 or 5 years. I can't remember now. But I was like, oh, that makes way more sense why Cloud is so fucked up and why
yeah.
he hates Hojo so much, because he was literally experimenting on him for years. I thought it was just like one thing he like injected him with, and he just didn't take it well or something,
Yeah,
like he
yeah,
rejected it or whatever. It was like, oh no, he's been like a fucking science experiment for several years now. No wonder he's so fucked up.
oh man, and just like I don't know, just seeing it in so much more like in realism with remake of just like how actually tortured of an individual he is and
Yeah,
stuff like that. It's just like, oh man,
it just makes way more sense.
I just love that whole story
Yeah,
universe so much. It's just such a good story.
cool. Okay,
Mm.
so yeah, you're at the so you just met Aerith for the first time.
Yeah, I fell through the church.
Yeah.
Standard meet cute with Aaron.
Yeah, falling through the roof of her church.
On the roof of church, step on the flowers. Don't know what the hell you're talking about. Yep, no, classic.
And
How else do you meet Aaron?
yeah. So funny. It's like,
um,
man, it must have gotten really old by the time Cloud fell through in the exact same way, in the same uniform with the same sword and the same hairstyle.
yeah, yeah, it'd be funny if there was a really like non-obvious way for her to be like again,
Yeah.
and then him to be like, "What was that? Nothing."
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to rewatch that scene. Maybe she does do or say something very subtle that hints at that, but like
That would be
she's
pretty
not
funny.
surprised, but yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Same
that's
same sword.
yeah.
Soldier. She
Okay,
has a
cool.
type.
She's got a type. Yeah, exactly. Okay, cool. I just wanted to see how far along you were in that. And
And
yeah.
I downloaded the theater rhythm to give that a try, and I was like, this is really fun, but I know I've seen you play those games, and I'm just like, you need to be that good to like really
Sure.
go balls to the wall in that game, and it's like I am struggling. So like
And
I'd love to watch someone play it.
I would feel like, so I played it on like the normal, like the middle sort of difficulty,
Hmm.
and it was like it was neat, but it wasn't as fun because the button presses were like not really in rhythm because they were slower, right?
Too slow. Yeah, exactly,
So I
exactly.
bumped it up to like the second highest, and it's like, okay, this is like enough that I'm not getting mad because I keep failing 75% of the way through, but it's
Yeah,
like it's enough that it's enough notes that you're hitting to the beat of the song. And
yeah,
it's like, in Guitar Hero, when you would play that, you'd kind of like recognize like a pattern. It's like, oh, that's this move, or that's
yeah.
like these moves.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And it's like
yeah.
literally knowing the song, it's like I know exactly what is coming when I see these notes. And even though if it's like a pattern I'm not familiar with, I was like, I know what notes this is gonna hit and like the timing of it, so I can just do it
Yeah.
on like a
And
first
so
play.
I did a few FF7 ones and like up to maybe the second hardest difficulty. And it
Mhm.
was just like, this is really, really fun. Um, but this will consume me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like, I
So
can't.
on that
Yeah.
note, I rolled credits on that game the other day. That took about
Amazing.
30 hours.
Oh, awesome.
Um,
And I've seen you play like the one that was on the computer. I can't, it was like,
oh yeah.
it was like, might have been like DDR, but like a computer version
I
of
think it
it.
was called like Step Mania was like
That was it.
the
Yeah.
version I had that you could just play with the keyboard or whatever. Yeah.
I remember you showed that to me the first time, and I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, it's impossible. Like laughably impossible.
Yeah.
But anyway, and so that was cool. I dicked around with that a little bit. That was
Yeah.
fun.
So yeah, I think you had to essentially complete you didn't have to do all the quests, and like certain steps within a level is like two or three songs you can do to move forward. You don't have to do all of them. You can like
Yeah.
pick one or the other, and then
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
just
yeah.
have to get to the end, I think, of every series, including
Series.
all which they had the Record Keeper as a series on there, because Record Keeper, the mobile game, had a lot of like um
Original music or
original, like, yeah, remixes and stuff. But anyway, so got through those, and then the last one you do, or maybe it's the last one I did. I left there was one that was the Final Fantasy Theater Rhythm, like originals, like the original compositions for this game, like remixes and stuff.
oh, cool.
And I think I just left that one for the end because I knew it would all be all new ones that
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had
yeah.
never heard before. Excuse me. And they had a battle medley, and this was just the last one I did because it just
Yeah.
ended up being, I think, the last one of that, or maybe I think it might have been when I finished everything. It's like, okay, here's the last song, and finish this, and you get credits or something,
Yeah, yeah.
regardless of the order. And it was a battle medley. It was literally FF1 battle to FF15.
That's
Um,
awesome.
and it was
That's
really
super awesome.
smooth. It wasn't it wasn't a jarring cut in between each of them.
Yeah.
I was just like playing it. I was like,
Yeah.
it's just like it
This
just
is the yeah,
recognizing the medleys and
heaven.
stuff,
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
melodies rather. Yeah,
Um
heaven. Yeah, exactly.
it's
Um,
funny, like it's such a testament to how good the music in Final Fantasy is, in that you can make a whole game dedicated to Final Fantasy like music.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
yeah,
360 some tracks, and it's like not all of them. Like it's not every song from every game.
yeah, yeah.
Um, so I was looking at the platinum, and I'm gonna work towards it, but it's like it's a lot. There's a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
I gotta
that's
do.
gonna be some work.
Yeah, but that's an easy game to just pick up and play for,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
at the end of the night or whatever. So I'll just kind of chip away at that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So, oh, another thing, because we were talking about just all our talk about like older systems and consoles and stuff, just really gave me like the itch to play some of those Super Nintendo online on the Switch service.
Yep. Yep.
And it's like I thought I was looking at it with like rose tinted glasses, being like, it just doesn't feel smooth anymore. Like it's just
Yeah.
maybe it's just in my head it was better because I didn't know that's all we had, so whatever. Anyway, so I these sometimes were hard to get in stock or whatever, but they had some available. You can buy this Nintendo Switch SNES
Oh,
controller,
awesome.
and so it's
Wow.
just like wireless for the Switch. Um, I like hooked that up, uh, started playing like DKC1, and I was like, this is perfect. Like
Yeah.
it's the D-pad on the Pro controller that I just don't like and just
Yeah.
doesn't feel as good. And like this is like the SNES like buttons and D-pad, like it feels exactly
Yeah.
like I remember. And like so I've just been like I think I beat DKC1 already. I've just flew through that game.
Such a good game too. Like
Yeah.
I went into a deep dive last weekend with my buddy Bill where it was like top 100 SNES games, whatever, and just like, okay, what's your list? And what's gonna be on there, and
Sure.
and see how many we can get, kind of thing. And DKC, when that comes up, just like, oh, well, of course this has to be on there.
Yeah.
Um, uh, yeah, we've talked about that on this podcast day of
Getting it
when we first got that.
Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, just playing it with that controller, it's like I'm so glad it was just the other controller that was making me feel like it wasn't as just didn't feel as good. Playing with
Yeah,
this, I'm like, yeah, I'm 10, like 12 years old again. Like this is
yeah,
exactly what I remember.
exactly.
So I'm
Muscle
good.
memory in its most perfect sense, kind
Yeah.
of kind of thing. Yeah, yeah.
And it's like it has like save states and rewind on the system.
Oh,
And I was
oh,
like,
that's
Mike was down. He just came to drop something off or something, and he was watching me play, and he saw me rewind because I died or something. And I
yeah,
was like, I've paid my dues. I played all
yeah.
of these games when I was like 10 years old. I'm fucking rewinding. I don't care. And he was like, yeah,
That's fair.
yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, I would do the same." I was like, "Yeah, we put in the time already. I don't need this now."
Like minecart madness, whatever. It's just
Yeah,
like, no, rewind.
yeah,
I can't do it again. Um,
yeah. I've
I've
done it.
I've put in my time. Yeah,
Yeah. So anyway, so yeah, I got that in. I think it was last Tuesday, Tuesday or Wednesday last week. That came in, and yeah, I've just been playing
awesome.
just like a ton of that stuff. It's so much fun. So I want to at least get through the three because I never beat the third Donkey Kong Country. We had one and two.
Oh man,
I never actually beat the third one. I
three is
played it.
really really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
played it when, I don't know if we borrowed it or something or rented it probably. But I
I
played some of it, but I never got all the way through it.
I've only ever played it emulator style. Like that was
Yeah.
like
Oh, that's probably what
SNES
I'm remembering. Yeah.
emulator. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I remember I scoffed at it for a while, but it's actually a really really fun game.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna at least get through those. And it's got like Link to the Past is on there, Super Metroid's on there. Like I'm gonna play these
Classic.
games now that I have
Uh,
this controller.
oh
I
yeah.
can't stay away.
Um,
So that's really cool.
the maybe the last recap thing that I'll say is that I mentioned to you, but I don't know, I haven't been putting it off. I just kind of haven't done it yet, but I started watching The Last of Us.
Yeah, you messaged
And
me about that.
yeah, exactly. So, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's perfection. It's the truest thing to the game that I've seen in a show, really,
That's what
ever,
I've
kind of thing.
heard. Yeah.
Yeah.
My
Have you not watched it yet?
No.
Oh,
So I
okay.
have so this is nothing to speak ill of the quality of it from everything I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard how good it is. The actors in it are very good. It's like Neil Druckmann, who's like the director,
Yep.
I think, of The Last of Us, the game, is like
Yep.
helping to. So like, I have every confidence that it is fantastic.
Yeah.
I cannot watch someone else play Joel and Ellie.
No,
I that's
fair. Yeah.
it's a me thing. I'm not speaking to their casting choice. It's just like I just can't I can't play those or can't watch those characters if it's not Troy Baker and Ashley Johnson.
Oh, no, fair. And
Yeah.
I guess they have cameos in the
Yeah.
show somewhere. Yeah, yeah. But anyway,
Do you know who they are?
I don't know
Okay.
who Troy Baker is, but I think I know who she is, but I won't say here just if it's
Sure.
spoilery. Yeah, yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Um,
Um, but
but
yeah,
anyway,
that's the only reason I haven't watched it is just because like I was a little bitter when I first heard what they were doing. So I was like, you could put this show just in this world and follow other stories because it would be super. Just fill
yeah,
out
yeah,
that world. And I think I was just bitter that they're doing Joel and Ellie again, but like obviously it came together well, so
yeah, yeah.
they know what they're doing. But I just have like I've played so many games with Troy Baker in it. He plays Snow in FF13, by the way.
Yep, yep. I knew that.
If I don't know if you remember that or not. And Ashley Johnson is on Critical Role, which I've watched thousands of hours of. So it's just like I can't watch their characters, and like they've given their praise to the, so it's not even like they're hostile towards them, but it's
Yeah.
just I just can't. It's a me thing. I just can't watch someone else play those characters.
No, no, and that's totally fair.
Yeah.
And if anything, it's gonna just make me want to play the game again. So
Probably, yeah.
um I keep remembering this. Sorry, we'll get to the point
I
of the
know.
podcast here in a
we
sec.
we talked about FF and it just sends us down a rabbit hole.
Just derailed us, yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Video Game Awards 2020, and I was like, FF7 remake has to
Yeah,
take
yeah.
it. Last of Us 2 got it, and I was
And you
like,
were real
that's
mad.
I was like, God, what the hell? Like, come on, nothing in the my unbiased opinion, FF7
Yeah.
remake has to win. And
And
then when
that
I
was
eventually
and that was even
go,
outside of all like there was all like the dumb controversy about the game that, and it's like it wasn't even that was influencing you from being mad. You just wanted
nope.
FF7 to
I
win.
and I loved The Last of Us, the first one. Like I was just like, look, it's a close second, but just FF7 remake has to be. It's the best game in the entire ever. And then when I played Last of Us 2, I was just like,
Damn
damn
it.
it. Damn it,
Yeah.
this game's perfect. Anyway, 1A and 1B as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And last thing for me is so the Resident Evil 4 remake is coming out next Friday. This coming
Oh
Friday, I
wow.
guess. And the demo is out. They
Oh,
released
okay.
a demo a couple days ago. And so I was deciding to play it on either PC or PS5, so I downloaded it on my computer to like see how the settings are, because the Resident Evil remake games have they're good at giving you a lot of graphical like
Mm,
tweaks that like
tweaks. Yeah.
that's the way you can adjust it to get it to run well, and it definitely runs like very well and like looks very good on my PC. Excuse me, my PC, which is
Mm,
where I have Resident Evil 2 and 3 already. So
okay.
I've committed. I actually already paid for it. I already bought
Oh
it.
wow. My
And it's
my buddy Robbie
so
was talking.
good.
My buddy Robbie was talking about it, and it's just like two has such a visceral kind of memory for me, and three does to an extent as well. I still haven't played that remake. But four, I never played four. Like I don't know anything about four. But anyway, he was just like, dude, you have to play it. It's incredible.
It
Um,
so it's like it was regarded I think it is still technically like one of the highest like rated games like of all time. It's definitely
wow,
one that shows up on best games of all time lists repeatedly.
wow.
And the review embargo was up for it I think on Friday yesterday. So people are allowed to put the reviews up or whatever that
Yep.
got early copies and stuff. And it's like 10 out of 10, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 93%. Like it's all like nines and up from what I saw.
Oh,
And it's funny because it's like, so RE4 originally came out on the GameCube because the Capcom had a deal with Nintendo that they were going to give them like, I think it was like 4 exclusive games over
okay.
X many years. And that's when we got the first Resident Evil remade on the GameCube.
Yeah, of the
Um,
first one.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was that. It was like Beautiful Joe, I think, was one. I don't remember the third one. And then RE4 was the fourth one, or however
Mm,
many there were. Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil 4 were part of that sort of deal they
mm,
had. And it was like I said, it was like one of the highest reviewed rated games of all time, whatever. And another one that was like one of the highest reviewed and shows up on these best of all time lists is Metroid Prime. And both of those are coming out this year. And Metroid
Uh,
Prime has like 90 something Metascore. Like, it's just like
yeah,
looking at the best reviewed games of the year. What year is it?
yeah.
It's like Metroid Prime and Resident Evil 4.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but I played the demo, so of course I'm going. I already played through Resident Evil 2 again.
Oh wow,
I did both A and B route of that. I finished that last night, and I'm gonna do Resident Evil 3 probably tomorrow,
wow.
just to play through those again and just get
Well,
myself ready. And
to
it's
this
like, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, to this day, like some of the scaredest I've been in like in the modern PS4, PS5 kind of gaming part of my life was playing Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah,
Like
I was
that
so
game
I was
scared me to
playing
death.
it with one of my friends on Discord wanted to just watch because I think she had seen parts of it and gameplay of it, but never really saw the story, like all the cutscenes. So it's like, oh, I'm replaying them, so like I'll just stream it in Discord, and you can just because you can just hang out in Discord and like watch
Yeah,
or whatever. And I was like, I'll let the cutscenes play so you can see all the story. And there's this one part. It's like when you're in the lab and you're going through like the cafeteria, and it's like when you do the puzzle in there, so you hit like a checkpoint. It's
yeah,
like you go and there's like a point where two lickers come out of the ceiling, and I'm
yeah,
like, okay, two lickers are coming, and they're coming from there,
yeah.
and it's like, so I'm like walking with my gun. I'm like, I know they're coming, and it still made me jump out of my chair. Like, it's like I knew it
No,
was gonna happen, and it still just got me so bad. And then just like Mr. X chasing you around. I had like, even though I've played this game probably like 10 times through start to finish, there are still points where I'm just like freaking the hell out because like Mr.
yep.
X in the back, like in my on my headphones, and just like the screeching zombies and a surprise liquor and like,
That's a
oh
good point because I play with headphones, so you can really kind of hear him
yeah, stomping
clumping
around.
behind you. There'd be so many times where I just be like, nope, 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 I'm done. And like you hit like the PS button and ring and then like shut it all down. Like, no, I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't, I can't.
Yeah.
I
And,
go
and
upstairs.
when I'm playing alone, that's what happens. But like, then that's why I was telling my friend, I was like, giving them the hard sell to come watch, because like it will be easier for me to play if I'm with someone, if I'm
Yeah,
talking to someone, because
yeah.
it's too stressful when you're like got that isolated sort of feeling.
No, exactly. And that's exactly because I'd be just like in the basement playing
Yeah.
alone, and it's like, nope, gotta go check an email, put a TV on, like pretend
Yeah.
someone else is in the room, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
anyway,
So anyway, yeah. So I'm getting
cool.
hyped for that. And so the original RE4 was a lot more. It was a little goofier. Like, it wasn't as scary. There was like maybe some like creepy parts, but it just wasn't like as scary atmosphere as like RE2 was.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but the demo from what I played is like they're definitely leaning a little more into like the darker tone.
cool.
And it's like, but Leon's like this. He's like, it's like 6 years later or something. So he's like this special forces like government agent now. So
Yeah,
it's
okay.
like you like shoot someone in the knee, and then he can like roundhouse kick them, or like he's just like way more like intense. And like that was sort of, people were worried they were gonna take that out because it was gonna be a more serious game. But it's like
Yeah,
it's very brutal. Like, it's like it actually was really good sound effects for like the hits and stuff. The one they
awesome.
kept in, which I'm glad, even though it's goofy, is if you like, I think if you get them, like shoot them in the leg or something, or hit them so they kind of go down and get behind them to melee, he'll like suplex them. Because he did that in the original, and I'm just like, I'm so glad it's still in there. Just
That's awesome.
gah! And just like crush them. But anyway, yeah,
I'll
it's
have to
super
download
fun.
it. Yeah,
Yeah, the demo's
Leon.
free, and it's like the first encounter in the village, and it's like, so they're not zombies, but it's like, you haven't watched like videos of like 7 and 8 story, have you?
Not really, no.
So like, the G virus or whatever is like loosely connected. I'm gonna get this so wrong, but there's like some connection with like this sort of I don't remember if it's like plant based something. I don't remember it, but it's like some kind of infection, and
Okay.
that's like I think the G virus was sort of modeled after or something. I think that's kind
Okay.
of what they talk about in 8 a little bit, but it's like they're like the people in this like village are like more coherent, like a little more coherent, like they're not just brain dead zombies.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like they're coming at you with like pitchforks and like throwing axes at you and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like quite claustrophobic because they move quite a bit faster than zombies do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you got a knife and you can like parry attacks and stuff and like anyway, it's super fun. Definitely worth checking
Oh.
out the demo.
I'll definitely check it out.
It's very fun.
And yeah, yeah, like, Leon no longer a rookie cop.
Yeah, it's
You know,
punished Leon now. That's what we
yeah.
call him.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
So anyway, that's kind of a long update, but whatever. Wanted to cover some of that stuff because that's why I also why we kind of wanted to do this podcast is because this is the stuff we would wait till Christmas every year to like talk all about all these things all at once. So
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
nice to just be able to set it up here.
Perfect.
I guess since I was a little longer, let's take a quick break and then we'll jump in talking about Arkham and Spider-Man and all that stuff. So
Perfect.
yeah, we'll take a short break and then we'll be right back.
Cool. All right. See you in a sec.
Hey everyone, welcome back. So yeah, let's jump in. We were gonna start talking about this, but Final Fantasy found its way in. So yeah, we talked before about how Arkham was sort of like, because I don't think you said you hadn't played them before you were visiting. Whether I think that we just determined that was when you were like done school or when you were back. It wasn't a Christmas visit, but it was just when you were home before moving out west.
Yeah,
Um,
I think Arkham Asylum, the first one, was one that like you had showed me at Christmas. Um, and I didn't really get into that. It was then Arkham City when I was back after my degree
yeah,
that I kind of got into it. But so yeah, yeah.
yeah. So you went back and played Asylum though, right?
I did, yeah. So
Okay.
I kind of played City like a little bit, kind of with you, and then I was like, I should play Asylum first, and then kind of go on. So yeah, I
Okay.
definitely played Asylum. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Um, so I one thing I like about so we'll talk specifically about the Arkham games for a second, but the nice thing that I liked about between Asylum and City that made it feel like didn't feel too samey
yeah,
is it definitely felt like Asylum was more of like almost like a Metroidvania sort of
yeah,
like gameplay loop where it was just like you're in like this mainly like this one building essentially, and it's like you get gadgets or whatever that allow you to like open up or access new areas, and it just sort of
yeah,
had that sort of Metroidvania style. And then I feel like City was a little less of that and more just like the city was more or less open to you.
yeah,
And then you have like almost like a GTA structure where it's like
yeah,
start your mission and go do it or roam the city and
yep, yeah,
find crimes or whatever,
yeah,
and that kind of thing. So I really liked how those they did that step from arts from Asylum to City because it really made it feel like similar but not just too repetitive from the first game.
yep.
um and I love how they well we talked a little bit about like some of just like the silly AI dialogue and stuff and
Oh
doing those
yeah,
interrogations and just I totally forgot that you can like cut them off and just like it gives you like the dramatic finish even though they were in the middle of their sentence or whatever. um
it'd be like, yeah, the Riddler things, and you'd beat up everyone, keep the green guy for the end, and it's just like, tell me where the Riddler's whatever is. Like, okay, I'll tell you everything. It's in the bam, the face into the concrete. And just from skipping the dialogue, and it's just like, Batman don't give a shit about anything.
Yeah. Yeah, so good.
Oh man.
Um, and I do remember. I feel like this was in both Asylum and City, but the boss fights I remember being like less of just like pummeling them until their HP is gone.
Yeah,
Like I feel
like
like you had to
mechanics
use
to it.
mechanics and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah, I remember
yeah,
really liking the boss fights. I feel like the Mister Freeze boss fight is usually the one that people like will highlight because you have to like use everything, every like technique you have up to that point or whatever throughout.
yep.
It's more of like a mental battle of like just trying. It's like a puzzle fight almost.
It's a puzzle. Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly. And that's what I liked about them. It wasn't just okay. How do I just dish out more button smashes than hits that I take, kind of thing. It's
right,
sometimes it's like I'm I don't know what to do. I don't know how to beat this boss. Yeah,
right.
yeah. Yeah.
Now, so well, I remember. I think it was Asylum had. I don't know if they kept this all the way through. It's been a long time since I played those games. Um, Asylum had like a. I don't know what to call it other than like a battle mode, where it was just like wave after wave of enemies, and you
Oh,
just
yeah,
had
yeah,
to
yeah.
like I don't know if you had to like hit a score or hit a certain wave number or something. But I
Yeah,
remember
yeah.
like discovering that when I
Mm.
first got I that's why I'm pretty sure it was Arkham Asylum. And it was like it was such an easy like one more run. One
Yeah,
more.
yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
can do
yeah.
better. Well, just trying to play like perfectly for, for however many waves of enemies and stuff. And
Yeah.
I feel like there was like a Catwoman version where you could do the same run but as Catwoman or something. Maybe
I
that
get a
was in.
lot of I get a lot of the games all mixed up. I'll be thinking
Yeah,
of something, it's like, oh no, that was in Arkham Knight, rather
yeah.
than Asylum. But yeah, it's something like
There
that.
was something
Um,
where I think you could play as her, and it was just I just remember it was they felt uniquely different. That it was really
oh
fun to
yeah,
do those,
definitely.
and just like
Um,
one more run. I can do. Well, I can get further. One more run.
and I remember like so I came home for Christmas one year and you had it, Arkham Asylum,
Yep.
and you were like, "Hey, you should check out this new like Batman game. Like it's kind of like a beat 'em up style, uh get gadgets like experience kind of thing." And kind of at that time I feel like I was just like, Batman game, like I don't know, like how does that work?
Because there wasn't really
Yeah.
like another good Batman game that at least that we knew about.
No, exactly. And it was just like I feel like all Batman games were always kind of crap, um
Because they
and
were
then you're like,
licensed after a movie and Rush
yeah,
Job and yeah.
and you'd be like, no, like you could like it's like there's some stealth, or like you could take on like 20 people, and I was like, I'm having trouble picturing what the hell you're describing.
Sure.
I like that those sound like two wildly different concepts. This game sounds like it doesn't know what it is. And then watching you play it, I was like, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I just that game, or that series incorporates so many of my favorite formulaic mechanics of a game. Like I love a good stealth, Metal Gear, Ninja, kind of like, it's even like in like Uncharted, like try not to be caught and seen or
Yeah.
anything like that. The uh, get experience for more abilities, and
Yeah. Skill
or
trees and yeah, yeah,
exactly
yeah.
all that stuff. And then just like the battle, the beat 'em up stuff was just like so perfectly done in those
So
games. Like
fun.
that pioneered it for me, I think. Yeah.
The and I'm remembering now where it's like you could like if you get like bonuses if you like perfectly time
Yep.
your attacks, and then when you get so much of a uh like combo or something, you could do a takedown.
Yep.
And
Yep.
those were often funny because they went like slow mo bullet time and just like Batman
Yeah.
like full body drop kicking some guy in the face or something.
Oh, so
Um,
satisfying.
yeah.
So satisfying.
Yeah. And
And yeah,
using
like
your gadgets like to like keep your combo going so it doesn't
yeah.
drop and stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, that just became that was like I remember, I think it was with Origins, where I would be so dialed in, like perfect dodge or perfect counter so that your number would go up by 2
Right.
every time you did one of those. And then I think if you got to 10 or something, you could either do a throw or like a supercharged quick fire of a gadget.
Okay.
And one of the achievements was had to be like use 15 different whatevers in one single combo.
Okay.
And so like you'd have to get to like 100 combo in order to do all of that. And like, okay, I like, and
And remember
it
which one you did so you don't do it again and do another like yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I'd be on like autopilot. If you just almost like the personification of it is just like beating up people and just being like, now what was I supposed to be? Like I'm fighting off like 7 guys trying to remember what the next what
Yeah.
super moves I've already done in this 150 hit combo.
Yeah.
It's like anyway, I loved those games and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the when you get like dialed
Mm.
into that combat, it just feels and I remember it's like a harder hitting like sound effect when you get those like perfect hits. And it's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like it's just yeah. I got
And
to imagine a lot of time went into like keying that in to like make it sound really satisfying when you get those because it
yeah.
really like hits something in your brain when you land those where it's like oh like that felt
Oh,
so
it's like,
good.
oh yeah. And
Yeah.
then in maybe some of the later games where like you could break their weapon. And so you'd be like fighting these guys, and like that guy like across the room is about to shoot me, and it's like boosh over there, like bam, bang, and then okay, back over to these guys again. Like
Yeah, it
just
would like
you know,
home in on them like, almost regardless of how far they were.
jump 20 feet across the room, uh, snap the gun in half, punch him, go back.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm gonna take care of you guys again.
Yeah. And I think
Oh
that
man.
combat system made it a very good like backseat experience. Like that's why I
Oh yeah.
enjoyed watching you play it when you were visiting me that time. Cause
Yeah.
like watching those play out is just it's fun and just because how like you know smooth it looks, but it's
Yeah.
also those funny moments where it's like blah blah and just like just jumping back and forth and stuff. It was so funny. So uh so I didn't actually play Origin. Maybe I played it a little, but I did not progress. I think I like tried it once, but I never really I don't remember anything about that game. And I got pretty far in Arkham Knight, but I don't think I ever actually beat that game either.
Oh
Um,
man.
and so I know
Um,
you've played all like which of the four of those would you say overall is your favorite? Like what about those four games makes the one your favorite?
yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Um,
I'm not
yeah,
in
yeah,
interview mode, so I didn't write
yeah.
this question out.
No, no, it's fine. Like,
Like, which of the four is your favorite, and what element makes that your favorite? I guess is what I'm
yeah.
trying to say.
I love is that the fourth one? Arkham Knight?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one is just so good, and it's it's the same formula as the other ones. But um the story is really good. It's really dark. The stakes are high, and just Batmobile, Bat Tank, like all
Oh,
over the
that's
place.
right. That's the only
So
one you get the Batmobile in.
just cruising around and like
Right.
launching out and turning it into tank mode. Like getting the platinum on that involved a lot of Batmobile mission kind of intensity.
Okay.
And anyway, yeah, that was just I love that one, and the graphics are just like pretty, dialed up. Being on PS4,
Yeah, and that was
um,
early PS4 too, and that game like still
yeah,
looks very good. I feel.
oh yeah. I feel like the voice actor was changed for that one, and when I first played it, it felt a little. I was like, ah, I missed the old one, but I got used to it pretty quick. That game is just so awesome.
Did
Um,
Kevin Conroy not voice?
I think. I'm trying to think. I think it changed it that one,
I'm gonna look it
but
up because
yeah.
I don't remember. Only because I know he recently passed away, and I thought, yeah,
Oh yeah. Sorry. I thought. Anyways, you'll look it up.
I'll look it up. Keep
Yeah,
going.
but yeah, that one was just, and it was really scary. Like there were points that like because Joker's kind of like in your head.
I remember
Um,
those. I remember those like cut scenes where he's like torturing you essentially. Because
yeah,
don't you have his blood in you or
yeah.
something from one of the other Arkham game? From I guess City would because Origins is earlier than all of these games, right? Because Origin.
Origins is, but yeah, but not Night is after. So
Right.
like,
Yeah. So like City would be directly before Night timeline wise,
exactly,
and like
exactly.
because I
And Joker
think
dies in
Joker
that one.
dies in that, and
Yeah.
but before that, yeah, he like you get like a blood transfusion or something, and it's like his blood's in you, or God, it's been
Yeah,
so long since
yeah,
I
I know,
played.
and apologies to people who played it recently. It's like peripherally remembering all these details, but yeah. So you kind of like freak out all the time and see him, and you'll come up over a ledge, and he'll be right there, like scaring the crap out of you, and
Yeah,
it's all in your head, and um, again, the whole tortured storyline, like you're with everyone's trying to help you and you're just like pushing everyone away, and
yeah, yeah.
anyway, it's just so well done.
Cool.
It's and ultimately you kind of need to accept that, and accept help, and and things like that, but yeah, the Batmobile mechanic was
I
so good.
I definitely need to go back and bump that up on my backlog a little bit because I know I got pretty far, but I definitely didn't finish it. So I should see that to God, that's almost 10 years ago. That was 2015. That game
Jesus,
came out.
no, I
You got it late because you got a PS4 late.
oh yeah, I only got a PS4, let's say like 5 years ago or something like
Okay.
that. So
So I'm not
but
trying
that
to take away your Batman card, but
okay.
it was Kevin Conroy that voiced Batman in
Uh,
that game.
in all the games?
All the Rocksteady Arkham. Oh, you're thinking Origins. I don't think he did it in Origins.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I think that's what was weird. It was a different voice than what I remembered from the previous one. So,
from
um,
Origins. Yeah, because Rocksteady didn't make Arkham Origin,
oh really?
and
Okay.
this yeah yeah some Roger Craig Smith. I'm not sure who that is, but he
Was
did
that?
Batman's voice in Origins.
Oh, okay. So I think I had I played City and Asylum like way before Origins, and I played Origins a lot. A lot of people shit on Origins. I really liked Origins. Um,
Yeah,
eh,
I always hear it's like the underdog, and it's like when Rocksteady like re-released because I think they did like the Arkham collection on
okay,
like
yeah,
PS4, PS5 where they like put Arkham Asylum in Arkham City. I don't know
yeah,
if it's like upres much or if it's just a straight port, but it's
yeah.
just so that you can access it on a PS4 because it was a PS3 game.
Oh, okay.
Um, and it's not in that collection because it's not a Rocksteady
Rocks,
game.
yeah. And,
But I
and
always hear good things, even though
I
the
really like, yeah, I really like that game, and I played it a lot because I think I platinumed that one, or at least got close. And so just that was like beating it on hard mode, and that or super hard or whatever, and then
is
that
that the
wouldn't give
one
you the.
where you if you die your like save is deleted or something? Isn't there one like that?
I think yeah, like the I am the night mode or
That's
something
what it
like that.
is.
Yeah, yeah, and like you don't get the blue signal for an
For
attack.
counters, okay.
But like I didn't need it. I was so dialed in. Like I that was like I'm just like I'm so in the zone. Then I'd play a game whatever with it and like, oh, this is like I'm checkers here.
Yeah,
But
that's fun.
I know the cues and all these like enemies when they're gonna be attacking me. But anyway, so I played Origin so much that I think when it went back to the guy
It just wasn't the same voice
Conroy.
you were used to
Yeah,
from
exactly,
yeah, that
exactly.
makes
So yeah.
sense timing wise, for sure.
Um,
And also speaking of Troy Baker, he was Joker in Origins. instead of Mark
Re-
Hamill.
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's what it said.
Um, man, what a talented voice actor.
Yeah, he's insane.
Um, um, but yeah, like I remember it was really neat because I don't know if you remember this, but you got me Arkham Origins for Christmas one year.
Did I? Okay.
Yeah. And it was like you and I usually just had exchanged like stupid little gifts, and then I was like, holy shit, like you got me like a game.
Yeah, that's because that would have been around the time when I was like working full time finally and like had
Yeah.
money to spend on, to get you something for Christmas.
Yeah, and I was like, "Oh Jesus, like this is awesome!" And then I played the crap out of that, and because I was going back to Lethbridge, and I had mom's Blu-ray player, i.e., the PS3 that I now
PS3.
had, um, and I played that so much, and it was neat because I didn't realize it essentially has like a Christmas theme because it takes place
Oh
over
yeah,
Christmas.
that's right.
Um, and it was at Christmas time, so it was just like it was very atmospheric of the kind of the weather outside. So I loved that game. I played that a lot, and then um, Arkham Knight was like I went through like the most like difficult quarter in memory for work, and like quarter end had just finished, and then the next day I was just like I just can't anymore. I can't.
Yeah.
I went out, was like, I'm buying a PS4, I'm buying Arkham Knight, and I'm throwing my computer out the window, and I'm not answering anyone for
Yeah.
I'm doing like a Garrett style staycation for
Yeah.
2 days. No one contact me. The quarter is over. I don't want to hear a word from anyone at work. I'm going into the basement and I'm playing Batman for 2 days straight on my new PS4.
Yeah.
So that Arkham Knight has kind of a special memory in my mind because that was me really kind of being like, all right, I'm a gamer again.
Yeah, sure.
I have the
Reclaiming the
most.
title.
I'm taking my gamer card and dusting it off, and like the most current PlayStation on the market is a PlayStation 4, and I now have a PlayStation 4
Yeah.
with a game from 10 years ago. But
Yeah. Well, back then it would have been because I don't remember. Well, 2015, I guess, is when it came out. When did you move the Lethbridge? Was that like 2018?
oh man, time
Oh
has no
god.
meaning these days.
Yeah, I
But
don't know.
like
But
I bought the PS4. It was probably like 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So I mean, no need to spare my feelings or anything. That Batman game was like $10 greatest hits title, kind of thing. So it was clearly an old game at that
okay,
time. Yeah.
sure. Yeah. Well, yeah, I knew you didn't have it like day one because you got it when you got your PS4, so it had already been out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And I think what also kind of precipitated that was like I feel like so it was like the end of Q3 and like 15 days before the end of the quarter, I think they'd announced that FF7 remake was gonna be coming out on PS4.
Sure.
So so I was like, okay, that solves the age-old question of when am I gonna get back
Yeah.
into gaming or whatever. It's I need to buy a PS4 at some point. So maybe I'll get a PS4 when FF7 remake comes out. And then the quarter was hell, and then I was like,
Yeah,
nope, getting it now. I'm gonna need it anyway, so I
yeah.
might as well get it now
Don't
for
worry, Square Enix gave you a nice 5-year lead up time to
yeah,
get
yeah,
your
exactly.
PS4.
Yep. Oh yeah, real nice. Yep, just made me obsess over it nonstop. Yeah. Um, but anyway, I knew like I loved Origins so much. It was like I've been wanting to play Knight ever since like I saw it come out like years ago, kind of thing.
Yeah,
So, anyways, yeah, I love that game.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I gotta dust it off. You actually got me that for my birthday, I think. You bought me
Oh
that
yeah,
game.
like last year or something. Um,
Yeah.
it's it's really kind of like yeah, it's pretty scary. That one's like a Halloween theme because it's Scarecrow's the guy and whatnot. But I remember like the opening scene, like literally like start game and okay, here you go. It's like just like Joker, like full like camera on like just his face, and like he's just like not moving, whatever, and you're just sitting there, and it's like 30 seconds goes by, and 60 seconds goes by, and you're like, come on, like let's go. But if you touch any buttons, I think you have to toggle the analog sticks. If you touch them even slightly, like fire kind of starts to light up, whatever, and then you're just like, what the? Oh, I guess I need to hold this, and because he's in the like incinerator, he's being cremated, whatever.
Right. I
Um,
do remember that scene. Yeah.
and because it's just like I'm just sitting there, okay, cut scene. It's my PS4. It was my new PS4 frozen. Um, but it was like, oh, it has a lot of quirky little things like that.
I remember
But
seeing a clip of someone playing that game, and they're like doing the little like zip line. You know how you can like double tap that or something, and like quick zip up and then like
oh yeah,
launch up. And like
yeah,
I don't remember what it was, but it looked like a vampire just like
yep.
jump scared, like camera full zoom in, like. And I was
Scared the
watching him.
living crap out of me. Yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
saw someone else like playing on a stream or something, or it was just a clip or whatever of some guy getting scared
Yeah.
watching that, and it was just
Like
like that was
that
cruel.
legit like nearly killed me. And when you do New Game Plus, um like I think Joker does that a couple of times, like kind of just shows up on the ledge as you're
Okay.
kind of doing that, like you're just and he's like, ah! Again, scaring the crap out of you. And on New Game Plus, um, in that scene where it's just his face kind of and you're lighting the fire, it like jump scares you.
Oh my god.
Because you're supposed to be just like, yeah, I'm just lighting him like,
That
oh
is
my god.
genius. That is
Uh,
so genius. I love when
anyway,
games do stuff like that.
just anyway, it was a well designed game. The story's great. He's pushing everyone away, and he's clearly deteriorating himself. And
Right.
anyway, yeah,
Okay.
that's an awesome game. I'm now gonna play that again. Uh,
Yeah, as if I don't have enough, but I need to bump that up on my backlog.
no, yeah, exactly.
Um, what was I gonna say about?
Um,
I
the
don't
other thing, just
remember.
like
I was gonna say something else about
fly,
night, but
flying around, and
oh
just
yeah,
like
that the traversal is what I was gonna
yeah,
say. Just
so good.
feels really good when you get the hang of it. Just doing that like zip line and then launch right into a glide or whatever. Um, and then
There's a lot of
I remember like you have a gadget that you can like listen for like like thug conversations or something. I
yeah,
just have this very distinct memory of like flying and like oh like there's someone mugging someone. I'm just like like
yeah,
full dive,
yeah.
and because you can go into like a kick, like a double drop kick, like right from your
Yeah,
glide, and just like give me your wallet, boom.
yeah.
It's just like
Or
it just feels so good.
exactly, because like there's the Batman logo, and as it fills up,
That's
it's
what it
like
is. Yeah.
if you get it filled by the time you get to him, it actually does like kind of a throw or whatever, and like, oh, this is gonna be close. It's gonna be close. Um, and especially if it's in the middle of some sort of crime, but also it would be like they're all standing in a circle for some reason, and you just go like right in the middle, and it does like a shockwave attack.
Oh,
Um,
okay, okay.
and it'll be like, oh, blah blah blah, oh, and they're all like, like from the Bronx or whatever, like every single one of them, right? All
Yeah.
talking mobster like, and oh yeah, I ripped off this whatever, and then boom, they all fly, and then like nothing, not it's just kind of like noises, grunts, and whatever, and then one will finally stand up and is like, it's the bat. After they just been like thrown everywhere. It's like, oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
glad you figured that out.
Yeah. Give this guy a
Yeah,
gold star.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, interrupting thug conversations was
Yeah.
essentially like the best part of the
I
Arkham games.
I remember like doing that a lot and getting side. That's probably why I didn't end up finishing the game because I would
Yeah,
just like go into that free roam mode for hours and I would just lose. I would lose track what I was doing.
and that's that's my MO is ooh, a side quest,
Yeah.
ooh, a side quest,
Yeah.
ooh, a side mission.
Yeah.
Um,
Same.
what
Okay.
what what was the main story again here?
Yeah.
I got really bad for that in Arkham Knight because it'd be like all these side quests and oh, I want to get this skill tree and yada yada yada.
Mm.
And then I went to the whatever the place that my map was telling me to go, and I was like, I have no idea what's going on. I was like, like these people are talking about stuff that I have no concept. It's like I've been in
Yeah.
side quest mode for way too long. Um, and that's kind of why in all these like new game pluses, I'll be like, okay, just do the actual story, Matt,
Sure.
because you really did not get a good
Consistently. Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
I'll get to the end and it's like I don't really understand the stakes that were here. It's like I think I'm in love with this person. I can't even remember.
So in
But
recent years, I've sort of flipped that in my gameplay style when I tackle games like this or like JRPGs, where I will like more or less like crit path and
yeah,
like just go because number one, I also want the
a
challenge.
challenge. Yeah,
I don't want to use one move on like a final boss and kill it.
yeah,
Um, and it's just like to get that like satisfying like narrative payoff.
yeah,
And
yep,
then I'll do extra stuff after, or if it's a game that's like not crazy long that you can do New Game Plus, then I'll do like the more completionist sort of run.
yep,
But yeah, because exactly that is what would happen to me.
yep.
So we just do we both get both of the experiences. We just do them in the reverse order, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really want to be someone who can like just go through like the game and not side quest mode. I don't know. It's just
But
I can't.
yeah, there's no reason to try and force that change. Just play how you
uh,
want to play.
no,
That's what I
and
tell
that's
people.
kind of what I'm trying to lean into, where it's just like, hey, look, I like playing games, and who cares how it
Yeah,
works. So
exactly. Yeah. Um.
uh,
So I was gonna say I don't think I had anything else about the Batman games. We'll talk about Spider-Man. I don't know if you have any last thoughts about the Arkham stuff. I knew I was gonna lean a little harder on you for this because you
no,
have
no,
way more
no.
experience with it than I do.
Um, I think just like they're just such a fun ride, and go man, like detective mode and all that stuff as well.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
To help find like the extra secrets or stuff, or the thing, I don't know, again, everyone shits on Origins, but they had like you'd recreate um crime scenes and stuff like that. Like
Okay.
it'd be like, oh, examine this and rewind. Like, I mean, it made no sense. Like he had the technology to like, oh, the trajectory of this bullet. Let's just
Yeah.
rewind the scene. You'd see where
Yeah.
the bullet would come from, and oh yeah, the glass probably broke from this, owing to the, and you just okay, look somewhere else, reconstruct the scene, and then he'd kind of. It was very detective-y.
Right.
And anyway, I thought that was super cool and a lot of fun. Um,
There's a game on the Switch called Astral Chain, and it's one of the games that Platinum Games did,
oh
and
wow,
where you're actually playing as like cops, but it's like this very like cyberpunky, like futuristic, whatever, and like I totally forgot about that. Well, I guess I didn't really play Origin, so maybe that's why I didn't have that point of reference, but. Uh, because they're like more futuristic, it does a very similar thing. Like when you're like you get sent to a crime scene and like your AI that's with you or whatever can like look at the accident and like show you exactly what you're describing. It's like a very similar thing, and that was very. I thought that was a really cool part of that game. And I had no idea that. Yeah, it's like for I don't care how little sense it makes that Batman has all this crazy,
uh,
insane technology. I will put that aside to enjoy a
I
Batman
will
story.
I will suspend all disbelief
Yeah,
for any Batman gadget. If, as far as I'm concerned, he's a billionaire. He can
yeah,
invent whatever the hell he
yeah,
wants.
exactly.
Um, but and just there, all the challenges with those games were just so much fun. Like it was kind of like sub trophies. Like get master all these challenges to get a trophy. So like
Oh, there's like
complete.
combat ones, and you had to like not
Yeah.
get hit at all, or like you could
Yep.
only damage them with like throws or something, or
Yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. or so there are some combat ones, and then like clear the room without being seen in 2 minutes.
Gotcha.
From by doing a ledge takedown, a broken wall takedown, and it just kind of forced you to use all your gadgets, and it was kind of puzzly.
Sure.
Man, I just play those for days, like the same kind of thing. Well, just one more, just one more.
Yeah, one more run. Yeah.
And especially with those, you could really exploit the AI of the enemies, and it could be really funny. Like you'd hide in a grate, and then like throw a sonar that attracts them, whatever, and they'd come over,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's like, what the hell is this thing? And then like smash it, and they'd be like, stupid bat doesn't know what the hell. And then at that exact moment, bam! And it's like you come out. Oh, the gate takedowns were so satisfying because they were almost like
Didn't he
had a rhythm.
like maybe it's something else, something where did he like bash them their head into it or something? I might be thinking
It,
something else.
I think it kind of depended on the grate, but ultimately it was like you'd get out, you'd smash them, and then you'd get back in. And then their buddies would be like, "What happened to him?
Where's Johnny?
What happened to Johnny? Oh man, must be the freaking bat." And as soon as he says that, like you hit him, or you just hit him with a batarang, whatever, like nothing to kill them,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
just, and then they wake up like, what's going on? And then their terror level is like elevated, and they're just like,
Oh
because you
yeah,
can
they get all
the
scared and
heartbeat. Yeah,
yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah. Or
Oh, that's so funny.
you'd string them up, and then the guy was like, "What's he doing up there?" And
The
then
freaking bat guy.
you'd cut them down and then fall on them. Like, oh, just the sky's the limit, and there are just so many ways that you could mess with them.
Yeah.
Um,
That's
and
like a point of games that there's it's like I don't want the AI to get better in games like this
yeah,
because that is like so much of the entertainment value
yeah.
is they're like just sort of backwards intelligent, like dumb henchman AI.
Yeah, and then like just the satisfaction of getting two or three of them lumped together and doing like a triple takedown or something like
Oh
that.
yeah, that's
Uh,
true. Yeah, I forgot you could do that.
anyway, I loved all that stuff. One of them had like a disruptor for your detective vision. So anyway, it's just such a well designed game for, and that stealth aspect. I just love get back up in the rafters, and they're just like, what's going on? Like they're these dumb henchmen.
And
I just
it's funny because like obviously they have to make the game light enough that you can see like
mm,
that you can see stuff, but you have to imagine that it's actually really dark that they can't see you. But like the
yeah, yeah,
game is lit enough that so you're just like because I remember like there's like the little like gargoyle perch things, and you're just
yeah,
like it's like loud, like your grappling hook, you like from one like chick, chick.
yeah,
It's just like it's like if they can see you because it's like so bright, but obviously
yeah,
it's just light because it's a video game and you need to be able to see what's happening.
yeah,
In
yeah,
reality, it's like pitch black up there or whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, it's just like some of that stuff just makes it funny. Like it doesn't even ruin that experience for me. It just makes it so much funnier for how much more dumb it makes the henchmen seem. Where's
Or
the
like
freaking bat?
yeah. If you could, I feel like you could, if you hit them with something and they'd fall over a ledge, like just anyway, just
Oh, sure, sure.
putting them in places where they could just be fumbly. It was just really entertaining. I just had so much fun with that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and just like, oh, your cape, and then you could just
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's right.
you'd be in the middle of a fight, like boom, 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 shoot, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, that's yeah. They do a similar thing in what's that? Shadow of Mordor? What's that Lord of the Ring
Yeah,
game?
yeah, exactly.
Where
Yeah,
it's like the spirit slash, where it's like you attack and then like this that ghost thing, and it's like
yeah, Yeah.
Just like it's the same thing, yeah.
Oh man, but yeah. So that's I think that mostly wraps it up for me for the Batman games. But
Sure.
there's just so many awesome ways to enjoy that game. It's kind of like it. GTA has like going on a murderous rampage, sorry, that's not Parasite. What was the game we were just talking about?
Oh, prototype.
Prototype.
Yeah.
Same kind of thing, but this one's like you can go on a Batmobile like side tangent. You can go on a crime solving tangent. You can go on just beating people up for the hell of it,
Sure.
or Riddler trophies and all those kind of things. There's just so many ways. Yeah, okay. I think I figured out my answer to your question from like an hour ago. Uh, I love that game because I'm a procrastinating kind of gamer, and there are so many ways to procrastinate in that game.
Yeah, that's definitely the culmination of like distraction elements in the
Yep.
game.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
definitely.
We
Yeah.
have our answer then. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just take a quick break and then we'll jump back in and talk about some Spider-Man.
Beauty. Okay. See
All
you
right.
soon.
See ya. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Let's dive in to. So we talked a lot about the Batman games. We definitely wanted to discuss Spider-Man a little bit because, as I mentioned at the top of the episode, the gameplay sort of feel for Spider-Man is similar in a lot of ways to what I got out of like the Arkham games, especially the combat. I think that's like the closest sort of comparison that you can make.
Yeah.
Um, Even in the way that, and this one was one thing I was going to say before, but I wanted to wait till we start talking about Spider-Man. Is the thing that they both do so well is I love how their like combat system slowly evolves, that you
Yeah.
like get new abilities to deal with new types of enemies as the game progresses. So it's like it
Yeah.
just keeps introducing like a new enemy type, and then you got to use this new move or just
Yeah.
use a move in a new way or something like that. I love how the both games do that with their combat. Just so by the end of it, there's like you said, you're an autopilot, and it's not because you're just mashing square over and over. It's like you're actually like being very fluid with all the different types of moves you got to do and stuff like that
Yep.
as the
And
game goes on.
because you've learned each ability, and and it's not that it was slow enough, but just you learned it and had to use it critically for a while, and then you had to use this other one critically for a while, and then when the game design is good, it's like, oh, you need to use both in some sort of way
Yeah.
together or something. And because in both of the both the Arkham and the Spider-Man games, like they're not trivial things. Like it's kind of like, okay, this one is L2 and triangle, and this one is R1 and circle. Like it's a lot, you got to know what you're doing, kind of thing,
Yeah.
to pull it off in a flawless combo,
Yeah, if you're going for
kind of thing.
those challenge
Yeah,
runs or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I really love that in both of those games. And I remember thinking that at the time that I was playing them, that it's just like just when you're like almost like too confident, there's like, no, here's a new enemy type. Now you have to do this move to
yeah,
like to deal with that or whatever. And same with Spider-Man, like using your gadgets throughout a fight is just
yeah.
so much fun to try and use
Oh
the
yeah,
environment and stuff. The thing that I would say like that Spider-Man definitely goes harder on and does in a much better way, because I don't think Batman really tries to do this, so it's not like I'm dissing that. But the Spider-Man definitely goes for like some of those like what I call like Uncharted moments,
yeah,
where it's just these insane chase sequences or whatever that
yeah,
is like super cinematic, and it's like in the middle, like it's basically like a moving cutscene that you're
yeah.
controlling, and my God, that game does that so well.
And it's
um,
driven like the Spidey sense mechanic. I feel like is a big part of it.
yeah,
Yeah,
true,
exactly.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Or
uh,
it's, I guess, not a mechanic, but it'll be like, wait a minute, and then like car is like flying by your head or
Yeah,
whatever.
it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
an element of why that makes more
Storytelling.
sense than Nathan Drake being superhuman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But anyway, yeah. Sorry to go. Go ahead.
Well, it just like that's like the definitely like a key identifying sort of difference between the sort of gameplay styles or like storytelling styles of those two games. And I just because that's the thing I honestly love the most about Uncharted games is those set piece moments.
Yeah, yeah.
And when games do that, Bayonetta does a good job at having crazy moments like that where you're just like,
Oh,
what is happening? Like the scale is, on a whole other level in those games. But it's still just that moment where you're like, yes, this is why I play these games, is because I'm gonna get like 4 or 5 of these moments
yeah,
that are just gonna like blow your hair back.
yeah.
And I
Uh, uh,
love that in Spider-Man.
That game's such a good game. The Spider-Man game, like, it's the same parts of the Arkham games that I love, and the the projectile. It goes a lot more into the projectile side of things rather than and I mean, makes sense. It's Spider-Man. He can shoot webs.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Of course, a lot of his moves are going to be kind of projectile based, and it does it really well. And roping like two people together, slamming them together. I loved a good like, ooh, that guy's standing against a wall. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, stick them, yeah.
That's pretty satisfying. And
Or like
um,
pulling someone's like shield and like
yeah,
whipping it around, hitting
yeah,
everyone around you and stuff. Yeah, yeah. I love
or
stuff like that.
uh, a pallet that is like pull
Yep.
pull onto them kind of thing.
Yeah, set them up for those traps and stuff. Yeah. The
Again, the stealth aspect of like, okay, I'm up in the rafters. I'm gonna like take out as many of these guys as I can without anyone noticing. I love that.
and the so in the same way that like like almost like how would I put this? Using the game's mechanics in like the most uh in the way that the character would never do things, and you use
Yeah,
the mechanics to like go against the character's
uh,
principles, in the
yeah,
way
yeah,
that Batman is like this super good detective, and he's like, where's the diamonds?
yeah,
Well, they're in the boom. I don't care. Like obviously Batman would actually get the answer. In the same way that Peter Parker will never kill someone, I love
yeah.
drop kicking someone off the top of a skyscraper, and he's just like, well, that guy's definitely dead.
And Spider-Man is super satisfying in the last hit of a group of enemies. And so yeah, you'll be on the top of a building and it's just like and it's like, yep, there he goes. And just standing over one is like, this is not what Spider-Man would do, but
No,
here I am watching this
and he
guy
like
fly.
cracks
Uh,
some wisecrack like after the battle's done. It's like you literally just killed that guy.
yeah.
I just love. There were so many moments when that would happen, and I think I like when I would think of it, I would like save the recording, like
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
last 30 seconds or whatever, just to like look
Yeah.
at it again. Because yeah, it's just like he's so graceful, like runs up and like kicks off his face or whatever, like knocks him
Yeah.
out. It's like, and he's dead.
Yeah.
I just love doing that stuff because it's like just not the character, what they would do, but it's like the game's like whatever. just pretend that part didn't happen.
No, exactly. And it's just like mission accomplished. It's like this guy henchman falling to his death.
Yeah.
Um, but
um.
um,
So one thing that's neat too with so I think I didn't buy it, but I must have borrowed it from a friend or something when it was out on PS4 originally. And
mhm.
I didn't get super far. I think it probably was out at the time that something else was out. It might have been out around a Final Fantasy 14 expansion or new content of some kind, new patch or something. So I just like was super deep into that, and so I didn't really play it a ton. And then you got it for. Did you play it on PS4? Yeah, because you
PS4,
didn't
yeah,
have a
yeah.
PS5 yet at that point.
No, no,
And I remember you telling me about it, and
yeah.
I think by that time you might have platinumed it or were working on the platinum.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was like, okay, like I need to play this game. Like I need to give it another chance. And it was around then that I got my PS5. And if you bought the physical, so Miles Morales was like a half price game or whatever, like wasn't a full price.
Yeah.
But if you bought like the full priced version, which like the digital deluxe, it came with Spider-Man remastered
Oh, right. Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
the
Yeah.
PS5. And so I think it was like the day I got my PS5, I had bought the Demon Souls remake and Miles Morales, that version, so I could have
Yeah.
both Spider-Man games. Um, so I played like maybe like I would say like 5 or 6 hours of it that first go on PS4.
Yeah.
Didn't get super far, and I feel like I don't know if it bothered me that it was 30 frames per second, but for how fluid that game feels, it didn't look as. I don't know. Maybe that's what turned me off a little bit because I had a base PS4,
Yeah.
so I couldn't run it in like the pro version or whatever. Um, but man, that game on PS5 is like silky smooth.
Oh, yeah. And I cannot like as I've only played the only Spider-Man game I played on PS5 was the Miles Morales one.
Mm,
But yeah, it's just a beautiful. I can only imagine it'd be the same thing. Yeah,
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 and it
um,
was really funny going back and forth. So like Demon Souls is like this like gritty like very dark fantasy punishing like you're gonna die 100 times before you can
yeah.
get to past, and it's like I'm gonna go play Spider-Man. Like I need some jolly vibes
Palette
for a little
cleanser.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
um
Um, and just as you mentioned it, just just flying around New York for the
oh,
sake of flying around, like traversing in that game is so satisfying.
yeah,
It's like I'm just effing Spider-Man, and I'm just doing what I like.
and you get
Uh,
all like the little techniques of like zipping to like
yeah,
those little like points that you can like hand flip off like and like get more speed and
yeah,
just like my and like getting swinging way up and then like diving like to get more speed and like oh my
yeah,
god. I remember there was like the side activity of getting like pictures of like landmarks,
yeah,
and like
yeah.
there was times when I was like I was swinging, and I feel like you had some sort of like indicator that one was
Bullet time,
close.
kind of. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
that's what I would get because I would be
yeah,
flying, and there would be something to indicate like, oh, there's one of those maybe it was on the mini map,
yeah,
and just like fly by, just and it's like, hey, keep
yeah.
going. It's just like it felt so cool to do that, like to do those like side missions or whatever.
As much like I love a good side quest. I love a good tree skill tree, and I love a good map clearing.
Yeah,
Like you
marking
know
those things off like, oh, tower 1 of 15. Where's the other 14, please?
yeah, no, exactly. And it's like, oh, see this tower, and your map gets uncovered. Well, how many of these are there gonna be? How many of these are there? Because that's exactly what I'm doing. Then a month later, oh yeah, Aunt May is like been on fire or something.
Yeah.
But had to clear the map, had to
Yeah,
get
had to get
Manhattan. So
all the yeah, had to get the map filled out. Um
um
the one thing too, man, the photo mode in that game was I'm not one to like use photo modes much because I'm just I don't have a good eye for it in some games of just taking a good picture or the
but
patience.
that photo mode's next level for
And
sure.
it's
Yeah.
just so fun. Like it is just genuinely so much fun because like the way you could like put it in like selfie mode when you're like no matter what position you're in and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It
took
was like
so many pictures in that game.
you change all sorts of like filters and like,
Make it
oh
look like a
man,
comic strip and stuff.
it
Like
was crazy. It was
yeah,
awesome. Yeah,
it
yeah.
was really
Um,
one of my most definitely my most favorite photo mode in a game just because of it. It like it was so on theme with like like the superhero like comic book sort of vibe.
Yeah.
And you could just take really silly pictures when you're doing selfie mode, when you're
Yeah.
like in the, up in this, jumping off a skyscraper or whatever. There was a
I can't
really
remember.
funny. Oh, you go ahead first.
I was gonna say you sent me
Yeah.
a one where like you were at like Aunt May, Uncle Ben's grave, and you had like a cartoony Spider-Man that was just like wah or something like it's
He's
just
There's
like
a trophy to visit Uncle Ben's grave. And I think that
yeah.
was, I knew that was my last trophy. So I was just waiting to,
Hmm.
it's like, that'll be an easy one to like finish off.
Yeah.
And yeah, I did like a selfie mode. He's like this, and like and
Yeah.
a little Spider-Man face with tears, like Uncle Ben would, Ben's grave behind me. It was like,
Oh man.
I should not be laughing this hard at this,
No.
but I'll throw it up. I think I can download it to my phone if
Okay.
it's on my PlayStation.
Excuse me.
So if I can find it, I'll put it up on the podcast.
No, it's such a fun and like go to the top of Avengers Tower and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like some nice little MCU, maybe not MCU, but just Avenger stuff in there.
yeah.
Like uh the music is so I don't know Spider-Man-y. Like
Yeah, it
yeah,
really makes me like think of like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man
yeah,
like
yeah, exactly.
soundtracks, like
Yeah,
big time. I
yeah,
feel like that must be intentional on some level.
yeah,
A lot of like string heavy,
yeah.
like orchestrations and stuff.
And
Um,
and yeah, the story is just awesome. And just kind of has all this kind of like what were they like
the gang that you're
yeah like the were they
the
Japanese
demons or the ghosts or something. I can't remember what
yeah.
they're called.
Anyways, it was just awesome. Like it
Yeah,
was just a really fun time.
and
Yeah,
it's like that was a villain I did not know anything about. So
yeah,
it was good, nice for me because it was like it wasn't like, oh, what's your version of this villain gonna be like? And there were some of those. Like there was
yep,
like Shocker was in it, I think. Kingpin. This what is he just called Scorpion? I forget.
yeah.
But
Like the classics kind of thing. But
yeah,
yeah, kind of
but like
dives into the other guys.
the
Yeah,
main antagonist, I feel like was really that Mr. Negative. I think it was his name.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
I had no idea what that guy was. So yeah, that was really the one thing that keeps that game from being like a perfect 10 for me is I do not like the Mary Jane sections. I when you
yeah.
have to crawl, like, it's fine for a change of pace, but I was just like, that's the only thing I was like, I would be okay if this was a cutscene.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
kind of one of those. It's interesting the first time and only the first time.
yeah,
It's an interesting storytelling technique, but for replays, you should be able to skip it.
that's a good point. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
especially for subsequent playthroughs. But
yeah,
very minor gripe for how good the rest of the game is. And speaking of the music, I love just like the slight difference in like musical sort of structure between like Spider-Man and Miles Morales. Like
yeah. Oh
it
yeah,
definitely has
yeah,
more of like a hip hop sort of undertone or whatever,
yeah,
with the music in Miles Morales, and just like just a perfect amount of difference to like in the way they swing is different because he's more young and kind of
yeah,
cocky or whatever, and just God, I think I remember texting you when I did the opening of Miles Morales,
yeah,
and you have that whole sequence with like Rhino, and you're like double
yeah,
teaming with Spider
yeah,
Man going through a he's like crashing through a mall, and you're fighting him, and it's like that was one of like my favorite like opening levels in like recent years. For
yeah,
just like wow, like it just because I felt like it just showed off having, and maybe this is because I just played the first game, like, and I went
yeah,
right into the second. Um, I could already tell like the extra stuff they're doing because it's on PS5.
PS5. Yeah,
Like it
it
just
was a coming out party for the PS5,
yeah,
kind of thing. Yeah,
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 and it was just one of those levels that like when I finished, I was like, holy shit, that was cool.
yeah.
Like just what a fun video game like level I just did.
I
Um,
um I remember I put a lot of time into this, and I'm glad that I did. Was like because I bought. Miles Morales for PS4 um because I was like, oh, I'm like it's on PS4 and PS5, and I only have a PS4, and I'm not buying a
Miles
PS5.
did Miles Morales was is on
It,
PS4 as well?
yep.
Oh, okay. I forgot.
Um, and I think I mean it's not whatever the frame rate, and it's
Yeah,
just
I'm
a
sure it's definitely improved on PS5 for sure. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, so I was like, I'm not getting a PS5 anytime soon. So I'll just get it on PS4, and because I loved the Spider-Man game, so
Yeah.
yeah, I got a PS4. Then FF7 remake intermission is only going to be on PS5. Guess I'm getting a
Yep.
PS5 and me at launch, or
Yeah.
not at launch, but like pretty close a couple of months after. Um, and so then I had the PS5, kind of went through intermission and all that stuff. And then it was like, oh yeah, I haven't played Miles Morales yet, but I have it for PS4. And I remember asking you, like, I think like even if you have the PS4 version, you could do free PS5 upgrade, especially for that game. And it like, let's say it was right before X, and X was when it made things very, very clear on whether you were playing the PS4 or the
Yeah,
PS5
they
game.
literally like patched the PS5 like system to
Yeah,
make it more obvious, which yeah.
exactly. So this was right before that patch,
Yeah.
and so it was like, I think I did it. It's like, no, I don't think it is, and then I finally kind of figured it out, and it wasn't trivial. And it's like,
It
okay, yeah,
wasn't at first, yeah. It
no, it's like this is the PS5 version. Um, and it's like I wanted to make sure so I didn't
yeah.
get like halfway through and was like, I don't think this is the right one.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Oh, so you were
so
able to play it like to
PS5.
start on the PS5 version.
Yes,
Okay,
yep, yep,
nice.
yep. And that was kind of like, intermission was my FF7 remake intermission was my first thing I kind of played on the PS5.
Yeah.
But I look at everything FF7 with like love. So it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
of course it was the most beautiful thing in the world to me.
Yeah.
But
And it
but
is,
that
but
and it is
I agree.
it objectively is. But Miles Morales was like, oh, okay, this is just a game I'm excited to play, and just like the frame rate and everything was like, this game is just so beautiful. This game
Yeah.
is just beautiful, beautiful game.
And
And
and just like even
cruising
like the
around.
quality of the animation, I just feel like was more fluid, and like part of that was I'm sure part of like Miles's design because he is like a more younger, kind of more
Yeah.
inexperienced Spider-Man, but I feel like they could bring that to life more because it was PS5. Like that
Yeah.
had to have been a factor.
Yeah.
I remember seeing this thing or reading this article where like before the PS5 was out, there I forget which like company had this like behind closed doors interview and like tech demo of PS5 technology before it was out. And one of the things they were demoing to showcase the power of the PS5 comparative to the PS4 was
Yep.
Spider-Man PS4. And they're like to they said like to show how fast the loading is on these new types of hard drives that the PS5 uses.
Yeah.
It's like we're gonna uncap Spider-Man's swinging speed, um, to
Okay.
like to go as fast as the game can load. So
Yeah,
like
yeah,
they'll
yeah.
they'll make his max speed to the point where it's like as fast as the PS5 can possibly load the
You
the
won't be
city.
you won't be clipping out of the city kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they
yeah.
said he was like a jet engine. Just like
Yeah.
just like just zooming through the city that fast. And I'm
Oh, that's
just like,
amazing.
I wish someday they release that footage of that test because that would be so funny to see.
Oh, that's awesome.
I remember always thinking that article was so fun, and because like when you like fast travel in that game, when a game is made for the PS5 specifically, and they like FF7 did this too when they redid.
Yeah.
But like when you go to like fast travel, like, oh, I need to go here, and I'm there. Like
Yeah, yeah.
what?
Oh, yeah.
What? Like no load time.
No, exactly.
And it just
When
made so much fun.
when I replayed FF7 Remake, the PS5 version, it was um like loading between screens was like nothing.
Yeah,
And I remember thinking to myself, I used to see like little things
like tool
that
tips or
like little
something.
store tool tips. Like where did those go? Oh yeah, I'm playing it on PS5 and load times are inconsequential right now.
And it's literally
Um,
from like the PS5 menu, the game is closed, and it's like from clicking the game on that screen to when
yeah,
I'm in control of Cloud was like
yeah.
4 seconds or
Oh
something.
yeah,
It's
just
maybe not four, but like it's like 8 seconds. It's insane, and using that tech in like Spider-Man just for even the fast travel just made it even feel like, because like, oh, I need to go, like there's some side quests up there, I need to go there, and I'm there now, like
yeah, yeah.
it's just like there's no downtime.
It's like fast travel and immediately like walking out the subway, whatever.
Yeah.
Like yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
so good. um and that whole like intro level of Miles Morales, it makes me excited for Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah, that's coming out soon. Yeah.
This year they still say it's 2023.
No way. Wow.
And because in Miles Morales, like Spider-Man was like on vacation or something, basically.
Yeah.
So like I'm hoping it's like we get a lot more of those like team up missions.
Oh,
And I don't think I want it to be co-op. I honestly think I'm happy to just be one player in that game, and maybe
yeah, I
switch
agree.
between, like maybe you can like toggle between them and control them individually. But
Yeah.
you'll get those bigger like cinematic moments like that first level of Miles Morales.
Yeah.
If it's like a single player game, like I'm fine if that game is just single player.
I agree. Yeah.
And it just makes me really excited for those crazy, like that feeling I had playing that first mission. Might be the whole game.
Yeah.
And Venom is like the enemy in that one, which yeah, I always
Oh,
love
I
Venom.
love me some Venom.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah. Oh man. Ah, I have way too many games in my backlog. Way too
I know.
many. Like it's stupid.
And you
Um,
saw they're doing a Wolverine game, right? You saw
I
that
know.
that's
It's just
Insomniac
like
doing that. That's
I'm
insane.
gonna quit my job.
Yeah. Um,
uh, amazing.
what else
Um,
was I gonna say about Spider-Man? Oh yeah,
uh,
the getting those photos. Go ahead.
one thing that was really funny was I was about halfway through it, and then I was in Calgary for work and hanging out with my buddy Cam, and he was like, "Oh yeah, the last trophy that I got to platinum that game was the like defeat 100 enemies in one combo or whatever." And I was
I
like,
think it was like a number of hits per combo
yeah,
or something
something
like
like
that.
just anyway, yeah, something of that ilk. And I was like, oh man, okay, I'll keep that in mind. That sounds tricky, whatever. And then I think I'd gone through the game, and I was going through my new game plus or
Sure.
something. But there's a scene, oh, I can't remember. You're in like a lab or something like that, and there's a lot of enemies. And I was
This
just
is
kind of like,
Spider-Man, not Miles.
this was Miles.
Oh,
Yeah,
Miles. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
I think I know which. I think I know which part you mean. If it's Miles.
Um, and I was just like organically beating people up and like, oh yeah, doing all sorts of moves and kind of da da da. It's like, oh man, like I might get this 100 thing. It's because I'd just been like, again, I was in that groove and
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, I was like what am I at? Like 70? It's like, oh wait, 70. Oh shit, okay, start paying attention here. Like you might get a trophy here.
Yeah.
Um, and but yeah, it was funny because Cam was just like, "Oh, I worked on that for so long," and then I was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm just doing my thing," and then like, "Oh wait, well, okay, hold on, I think I can get a trophy here."
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty funny.
That's the equivalent of Mike telling me he's looking at recipes while he's beating my ass in Tekken.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, God damn it. Um, but yeah, that was it was so easy to like get into a groove if there's a lot of enemies and they could kind of um if you could do kind of crowd control, like make sure they don't kind of gang up on you and
Yeah.
yeah, like swing stuff around, knock them down, make these guys pin them up against a wall or anyway, there's so many things that you can do to kind of crowd control, manage the room.
Oh, and the when in Miles, I feel like even like those finishing, it's like when it's the last hit on the last enemy, you get
Yeah.
those like dramatic zoom in. I feel like even those were like polished a little further than normal
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man. Like you got some
Especially
really cool animations.
especially if like there was electricity involved in
Yeah.
in the hits that you were doing. Like yeah, PS5 just beautiful.
Oh god, that was like a launch title almost. That came out
Yeah.
like right at the beginning. Um, man, Insomniac can do no wrong in my opinion at this point. I played the Ratchet and Clank game for
Yep.
PS5, and that was phenomenal. That was
Oh,
a
nice.
very fun. I like bought a physical copy because I knew I wasn't gonna probably replay it. I just wanted to go through it once and enjoy the story because I played the remake of the first one because they were giving it away during like lockdown times and stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is actually pretty fun. I think I told you before this Titus's voice actor, and it's
Oh,
like, oh
right,
yeah, it's
right.
nice hearing him like have good written dialogue to
Good
do.
good writing. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
But so I played that game and it was excellent. I was super satisfied. Played it, and then I think Mike wanted to play it, so I lent it to him. He
Yeah.
beat it, and I just sold it.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I got what I wanted out of that, and I love Insomniac lately because there's a lot of like problems with like crunch culture in game dev in some big like big companies,
Okay.
and of just people working their devs to the bone and
Yeah.
overtime and all this stuff, and then games still come out unfinished and a mess.
Yeah.
And they have like gone on record, and I think they even like outlined like the things they do to prevent this, but they're like zero crunch at Insomniac. Like
Oh,
it's like
wow.
40-hour work weeks, nobody's allowed to come in on the weekend, like just things like that they do. Like they make sure their employees take vacation every year,
Oh, wow.
and that kind of stuff. So, and it's like,
Work-life balance.
yeah, and it's just like with when so many other companies are doing it the wrong way, and like this company is doing it in such a right way, and their games are excellent. Like they're putting out excellent quality, video games. I don't know. I just have a lot of respect for that company
Oh,
um,
that's cool.
for doing it that way and proving that it can work. Because like then other companies can hopefully see that if they just
Don't have
you
to
know
kill your employees.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it is possible. So anyway, I really like that. Also really like because that game came out. What was that, like late 2020? Um, there's a really awesome quest in Miles where I think it's when you like do all of the side quests or something. Maybe like you complete all of the side quests for a certain neighborhood or something. They do like this big like Black Lives Matter like mural up on like the
Yeah.
wall, and I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like I was like emotional, like I'm just so glad they included that. They didn't want to get political and like just not take a side or whatever, like in that whole
Uh,
thing. And
yeah.
it was inspiring. I was so proud to have like I felt like I was glad I got to experience that moment,
Well,
and I didn't know, like I didn't, it wasn't like spoiled or anything. Like that was like I was seeing that for the first time, and yeah, it was awesome.
that game kind of came out at a very important time
That's
when
what I
that was
mean. Yeah,
happening, and the fact that they leaned into that,
yeah,
and I mean that was a lot of the story too and stuff. So like,
yeah.
anyways, that I agree. I was just like,
Like
that was
good
a
for
real
you.
integrity move. Yeah, that
Yeah,
was really cool. Yeah, for
yeah,
them to kind of do that at that time when it was so important to do that kind of thing. So
yeah.
yeah, that was awesome.
I felt happy to have experienced that for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
I feel like
same.
they did it really well.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So with what was it? With the first Spider-Man. So I was gonna do like Matt's plats about problem mostly Spider-Man. We've kind of talked about trophies a lot for both games up to now, anyway. But what trophies can you? Because this is a unique one where we both We both platinumed. You did Miles as well, right? I think you said.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we both have platinum. I did not platinum all the DLC for the first Spider-Man.
Man,
Because some of
that
those were
DLC
looked
is
brutal.
yeah, and but you should go back to those because those are
so,
really, really fun.
so I played them.
Yeah, yeah,
I played the story of the DLCs. And like I beat them all. I just didn't get the platinum for those.
I think I did. I'm not sure, but
At least the base game, I know we both did the platinum for that.
I remember like I'm always funny about DLCs. I'm just kind of like, oh, is this gonna be just
Like
a, mi- a
side story.
or like a cash grab
Oh,
of
sure,
like
yeah, yeah,
you know, but like those DLCs were just like this is some awesome extra content, and
yeah,
the one with Black Cat was really like silly.
yeah, yeah.
You
I
know,
remember that.
anyway, the dialogue was really silly and funny, and I was like, this is hilarious. I love all of this.
Yeah,
Anyway, um,
and
but yeah,
it felt very apropos for like maybe it's because of like the comic book nature of Spider-Man, where it's
yeah,
like, yeah, this is just like another like a new issue of the comic almost like, or like a new episode of the show, with like
yeah,
these
yeah,
side stories. Like it's and I believe it all takes place like chronologically. Like those DLCs take place after the main story of Spider-Man, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because those always feel weird when it's a DLC that like takes place in the middle, and it just
yeah,
like they never talk about what's happening in the main plot while you're doing this side story. But it's like that's kind of important. It's weird that they're not saying anything about it.
yeah,
So I like when the DLC is like, no, this takes place after whatever. Not every game needs that, and there are games that have had that maybe that I'm like, no, I'm happy with how the story ended. I don't need more.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But for like a comic book hero, it's like yeah, this they're constantly dealing with new like crises or
Uh,
whatever, so it
yep.
fits that structure really well.
Um, but yeah, I think because I got plat on both of those, and yeah, kind of some of these get a combo of whatever. Like those are the ones that are just like the probably the most rewarding.
Yeah,
I remember like stupid. Sometimes the last trophy I get is like a stupid one, and it's always kind of like, man, Uncle Ben's grave, classic example, right?
yeah,
And so for Miles Morales, the last trophy I needed was like uh direct Rhino through the mall and don't hit,
yeah. I remember that
more
one.
than like two things. And I was like, this is my last trophy. Like, come on, Matt. Like, you should have like tried to do this some other time. Get a cool one for your actual
Yeah,
platinum. Um, but
yeah. I think
stuff like
Oh, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I think I did the same where I looked. I was like, I kind of that's like what I do is like, what's an easy coast? What's an easy trophy to like coast on at the
Yeah.
end? And I left because Miles. I think you had to beat it. I think you just had to play New Game Plus and beat it. Like you had to do a New Game Plus run.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so I just did that and I put it on like easy. And I like
And
cruised through that game
plow
in
through
like
it.
two and a half
Yeah.
hours or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, seriously. Yeah.
Because it
Yeah.
was New Game Plus, so you had all your gadgets and stuff,
Yeah. Yeah.
and all your powers and everything. So it was just like a victory lap kind of trophy, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, but yeah, like I feel like just completing every district, like just and the stuff that you would do anyway. Like I like those were nice platinums because it didn't feel like do it. You have to do something ridiculous
Yeah,
like didn't just require insane amounts of grinding or frustration or whatever.
yeah.
Um,
It's like you just have
but
to know what it's asking you to do. And it's like, okay, I can do that while
yeah,
I'm playing the game the way I would play it anyway. I just have to
yeah,
remember I have to do this thing this way one time.
yeah, yeah,
I love when trophies are like that and not just really dumb
and
extra things.
like there were challenge behind like, oh, make sure to get spectacular or higher on this test or that test, whatever. So it'd be like um I remember there was a bit of grinding with stuff like oh, okay, this challenge is defeat all these enemies in 2 minutes, or like two
Sure.
minutes would get you a gold. Within
Oh,
five
yeah.
minutes,
Right, right,
whatever.
right. I remember those. Yeah.
And so you'd be like plotting out routes, like, okay, I'm gonna go up, do like a ledge takedown here, go over there, get tie this guy up. Like those took some time. That was definitely there was some grinding there, but it was fun because the AI, hilarity was
Yeah.
good.
And that's like you're just like refining. Like
Yeah,
you're already good at the game and the mechanics and like now you're just like optimizing like okay, how can I like I did this as good as I can and I didn't get the time so I got to do it a different way. Maybe
yeah,
start over here and yeah, like I enjoy those types of trophies too because it's like obtainable and you can see it and
yeah,
just like
yeah.
I just got to like I got to go this
Got to
way
be
instead of
better.
that way
Yeah,
or be better at it or yeah.
and
Um
I remember I really liked where it was like, s- uh, little Spider-Man symbols, and you're gotta fly through them and hit all these. 30 seconds is gold, 45 seconds is whatever.
yeah.
Um like flying through hoops, essentially, kind of thing. And those are really fun. And it's like your building swinging needs to be like perfect time in
Yeah.
order to make these, and up over this building, and dive down through this, and
Yeah.
swing at the right time with the right momentum. And anyway, that was fun. I liked all that stuff.
And when you get like a good hold on that stuff, it just feels so good. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
because you're just you're by the time you get the trophy, you're like, I am as good at this game as I'm ever gonna be, and now I'm done.
Yeah, I know. And I always find that so funny, eh?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm the best at this game. What's next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Um, but and then what's really funny is it'll be like, I can do no wrong in this game. I have by definition mastered this game. And then when I go play it again like a year later, I'm just like, how do I do
How do I
anything
do a
again? Like,
takedown?
yeah, exactly. Like a max combo of like 20. It's like, what the hell's wrong with me? I used to be able to do
Yeah.
this with my eyes closed, but it does come back. But it is funny how you're just complete square one almost again.
Yeah, you just eject everything from your brain once you've moved on to the next the next project or whatever.
Yeah, no,
Um,
exactly.
which can have its benefits because like when I go back to play like my eventual like FF7 remake like replay to get ready
Yeah,
for Rebirth, it's like I don't want to be like perfect at that combat system because I want it to still be a little challenging in the beginning while I like remember how
yeah,
to play, um play at like a high level or whatever. But
yeah,
so and like for me, I play a lot of like the Souls games, and those I will very intentionally not touch for a year or two or whatever before I go back and replay it because like
yeah,
I love overcoming that challenge of just being kind of bad at the game and having to like remember how to play it well.
yeah.
And so there are games that I will intentionally like not go touch for a while so that I can be bad at it again when I when I go back to do another playthrough or whatever.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, uh, going back to play Spider-Man or Batman, like, it'll be same kind of thing. And now it's like,
Yeah.
those games are so much fun. I should go and do that.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But
And,
anyway, yeah, it's like
and
I have the platinum trophy and can't remember how to do anything. It's just,
man, you must be really good at this game. I probably was.
I was, yeah, sure. I used to be, yeah, exactly. Uh, but
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah, the only I don't remember any trophy for me that was I I think there was like one of the like you said where it's like a challenge and you get like a gold medal, silver or whatever. I think no, that was part of the base game because I definitely went for the platinum. I just remember there was like this one battle in like a park and I think you just had to not take damage
yeah,
to get gold or something. And it was just like a bunch of really far away people with like rocket launchers or something that was just like I remember that one I think I had to stop and I'm like I will come back and do this later. because I literally it was like 20 times, and I would get so far, or maybe it was like it might have been you couldn't drop your combo. That might have been what it was.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you're in like it's with like a fountain or something.
Yeah, out in like
Yeah,
Central
yeah.
Park or something.
Yep. No, and I totally remember. Yep.
And it
I
was
remember
just
getting
like,
really frustrated.
and I'm like,
Yep.
okay, when I'm here, this guy's gonna throw a grenade, so I can turn and I can throw that grenade back, and then I shouldn't drop my combo, and then I'm going, I'm like, I like didn't finish one guy over there, and he's too far for me to get to before my combo drop, and it was just like there was that. I remember that was probably like the most frustrating trophy, just because I was like. I was playing it like 99% perfect, and then I would just screw up at the very end every time. Um, but it was
No,
never
I
like it never made me hate the game. It's just it was one of those times where like I'll come back because I'm just hitting a
yeah.
wall now and I'm not improving. So
Um and it would be like um and you get the same dialogue every time. You're like,
yeah,
enough,
yeah,
okay, all right.
true. I
Um,
forgot
like
about that. Yeah,
oh, Aunt May's cooking whatever today, and it's like, oh my god, dude, like if you say this one more time, I'm gonna kill you. But I remember there was one where it was, I think it was about like hitting those like those hoops or whatever, like just
yeah.
hitting the little targets, whatever. Get these 20 um within a minute is gold, a minute and a half is silver or whatever. And it was like I got like 1 millisecond over,
Oh god.
and just like no, like check it again,
Yeah.
check the tapes. And then anyway, and then I got 1 millisecond under, and it was just like still counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, but oh, I remember just being like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, and it's like
And for
silver.
all you know, you did do it because you it's like imperceptible how much you missed it by.
Exactly, it's like gold medal, silver medal. Like the difference is just anyway.
Yeah.
I remember getting pretty angry at that.
Here's a question, because I think both games did this. Uh, both, sorry, both series, meaning Spider-Man and Batman, where they give you like different suits that you can wear.
Yep, yep,
So for me, when I go through those games the first time, I'm like canon suit only. I'm like,
yep. I'm the same.
and I'll always be like, when I play it, when I come back and play it a second time, I'll get cute with the costumes. I'll come
Yep.
back, canon suit only.
Yeah.
I just like, I don't know why. I just like, and I love like, so I love the Tom Holland Spider Man. Like he's probably my
Yeah.
favorite Spider Man of all of them.
Yeah.
And they put his suit in
Yeah.
there. I don't remember if it was a challenge or it was a pre-order or no, it wouldn't have been pre-order because I didn't pre-order it, but you get it somehow. I think you just unlock it as you
Yeah.
level up or something. And I was like, oh, like I saw that it was locked. And like, oh, like I'm playing
I
as
want that
that
one.
when I
Yeah.
get it, and I put it on. And I'm like, no, I like the new suit. It's like it
Yeah.
just fits. You know, it's like it's the in-universe suit. Like it doesn't make sense for him to
Yeah.
be. It doesn't look or sound like Tom Holland. So why is he wearing that version of Spider-Man's suit or whatever?
Yeah.
So I'm always like a purist, I guess, when I go through when it comes to
I'm
skins.
the total same way. It's and I think in Miles Morales you get quite a few new suits along the way.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, yep, nope, this is part of the story. New
Mhm.
suit, that's cool. And it's like, oh, silly comic book suit unlocked, and it's like, oh, that's kind of neat. Switch like one swing. Nope, can't do
Yeah.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta go back to story. This feels too weird. I don't know. I'm the same.
Okay.
Uh, and some people, I mean, well, then there's Mike who plays with like, oh, a Tekken character with a bubble machine on their head and a tennis racket on their back, and he's just like, this is normal.
Yeah.
But I just like, no, just can't stick to the canon. Like, but yeah, no, I'm the same way.
Okay.
I like unlocking those things, and especially if you have to, and do something with it for 2 seconds, and then I'm like, yeah, yeah, okay,
That was
going
fun.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Back to normal. Yeah.
Feels feels it almost feels like I'm playing something that the devs didn't intend. It's like, hey, they put it in the game, but it's just kind of like,
Yeah, I know.
no, it's not what
It's
it's
like
not the
it's not part of
story
the
we want.
narrative. Yeah. If I
Yeah,
didn't unlock it if I got that weird suit as like a gift from someone in a quest, then I could maybe wear it, being like, oh yeah, he like this exists in this world, but it's just
Yeah,
like, why does Spider-Man have? And it's like, it's not like MCU Spider-Man where he has Tony Stark giving him all this free. It's like
yeah,
he wouldn't make all of these suits himself. Like that doesn't make
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
So yeah, I just can't
I
do
can't
it.
I can't suspend disbelief for rando suits. That maybe that's the problem. Yeah,
But kicking a guy off a building to his death, that's fine.
fine. Yeah, geez, Spider-Man, he just had to do it. Yeah, he had no other choice.
Yeah,
Uh,
like
I mean,
we guess when you put those side by side, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
whatever.
We're very
We're,
picky about what's canon and what's not.
we're playing video games. We're not trying to solve world problems here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
okay. I mean, I think that's pretty much all I wanted to cover with Batman and Spider Man. Um, any last thoughts about either of those that you wanna shout out?
no, just that I gotta go play them both now.
Yeah, I know
That's,
that's like the
that's all.
problem.
I'm angry and then I'm on the road and I can't just go put one in the PS5 right now. This is a terrible idea to do a podcast while I'm on the road. Um, but that's the first thing I'll do when I get back home. But no, just
Cool.
if anyone hasn't played those games, definitely check them out. You can get them for like $10.
Yeah, they're super cheap now. Yeah.
They're a super fun time. And yeah, it's just classic. I like beat 'em ups, skill trees, procrastination land like times 20. Man, so many good aspects to those. So I love those kind of games.
And if anyone has a PS5 and the PS Plus collection, they're like taking that away, but as long as you add the game to your
Mm.
library before they take that program away, they're basically yours like a PS Plus game is. As long as you're a subscriber, you can re-download and play it. And
Are they on it?
Arkham Knight is on there.
Oh,
So
easy.
if anyone
Nice.
has a PS5 and PlayStation Plus, you can basically just get the game for free and just add it to your account. So, but anyway, yeah, I'm gonna bump that up on my backlog a bit.
Oh, good. Well, keep me posted because I love those. I love that game.
Yeah, and I feel like I did play it. I think some on the PS5, so I don't know if it got an upgrade. It's probably just like the PS4 Pro version that you can
Yeah,
access on the PS5, but I bet it looks pretty good on my monitor. So I'm gonna give it a try. Um,
cool.
okay, well, thanks Matt for taking time while you're on the road to do
Uh,
another one of these. And I don't know yet what our next topic will be. Um, I did plan on having just like a very generic, actual like Final Fantasy talk about specific games, like more like specifically. Um, so we might do that next for the next one, and we'll probably wait till you get home. Um, you're out for like 2 weeks or something, but we'll figure that out. We'll probably
cool.
have it up in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
There's
Once I figure
plenty.
out what we're gonna talk about.
There's plenty out there in the world to talk about, and the well. There's certainly a lot in that well. So
Yeah,
yeah, no worries at all.
right on.
But cool, awesome. No, thanks again. Again, just screw you because I don't have a PlayStation on me now, and you have that capacity, so I'm
Yeah.
jealous. But anyway, whatever.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks
Okay,
everyone for watching, and yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.